Hey gang, what's going on? And welcome to Talkin Vegas All Day with KA. I'm your host KA. So today we're going to talk about Xanadu. I found some interesting stuff, and it's a little bit more iconic than a lot of people think it is, and I'll explain to you why as we go through. But before we get started today, make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe, and punch that notification bell so you get up-to-date information when we drop new episodes each week. And on today's episode, I want to ask the question, what is the craziest hotel idea or casino idea you've heard of in Las Vegas? I'd love to hear about it. Is there something that KA hasn't heard about that I can cover in a future episode? Because I'm going to do a couple more of these because I found some great stuff here. But we're just going to cover the Xanadu today. Let's go ahead and get started on Talkin Vegas All Day with KA.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's go tonight.
Right now.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll stay up all night. Let's go to Vegas. Let's get away.
So the history of the Xanadu is a very short one, and there's some really unique information and tidbits. So basically the concept for Xanadu started in 1975. Martin Sturton Jr. proposed the idea of the Xanadu Hotel and Casino, which was supposed to be this ultra luxury, like think of the Cosmo, the Wynn, the Mandarin. We're talking ultimate luxury here. For a site now that was occupied by Excalibur. It's now where the Excalibur was, they wanted to put a luxurious thing. Now I'm going to tell you this right now, Kay would have loved it. I think everybody out there would love to have a luxurious place. You could go right from the airport right to your luxury hotel rather than going down the strip. And so who is Stern? Well, Stern, if you know your Vegas history, you've heard of him. He's the one that built the Las Vegas Hilton Westgate, which initially was the International. And he also built the MGM Grand, which was now Bally's. So basically, what was Xanadu? Well, the theming was initially Asiatic, pleasure dome theme, and it was futuristic and kind of new age. And I can speak from experience, having been to Atlantic City, that this would be used to its advantage by Donald Trump's Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, Steve Wynn's Mirage, Mandalay Bay, and a couple other places would use these ideas later on down the road. That's how far ahead Xanadu was, folks. When you looked at this, it was kind of think of Disney's contemporary. That's how the designing of this was, that building. However, when you came in, there was supposed to be a fire falls, as they called it, cascading water nearly stretched across the site, penetrating with fire. So think of the volcano outside the Mirage with kind of the lush settings of Mandalay Bay's entrance area as well. That was really what Xanadu's kind of was. And again, it was supposed to be a top-notch, luxurious resort in all of Las Vegas. It was supposed to have its soaring atrium, kind of like the contemporary, was supposed to have 1,730 rooms, many features which were supposed to be considered top-notch, revolutionary, and would cost, from what the sites I saw, right around $150 million to complete. The atrium was 20 stories high, capped by shimmering mirrors, crystals, action and animation on the casino floor. And I hate this term, but it's supposed to be immersive. You walked in there was hustle, bustle, glitter, glance, fair. If you've seen the movie Xanadu, that's exactly what they were going for, folks. They would have a lush gardens, gazebos, atrium decks overlooking the casino like I talked about. On the way to the restaurant core, they would have a shopping area, kind of like the bazaars shops at Bally's now. And they'd have tents, islands, kiosks. It was supposed to be a community environment inside a hotel casino. It sounds pretty cool. The theming for the casino was going to be more of a Shangri-La cashmere, very intimate, utilizing tents, soft cushions, exotic custom waitresses, again, high class. And it was going to have 7 unique restaurants. Now, I saw a couple. I saw like there was going to be an Asian Mongolian theme. There was going to be like a Mexican chicken kind of place. There was also going to be a 1,500 seat 3-story theater, a lounge with a discotheque, because again, this is the 70s, and a movie cinema. So what happened? Well, from what I read, it was very odd. The project was approved by the county, gaming board, everything was good. But Construction plans were halted when the project discovered that the sewer lines around the area could not handle the output. Now, today that wouldn't happen, and Xanadu probably would have been built by today's standards. And then it was assumed the existing utilities could absorb Xanadu later on. After they initially gave it, they kind of tried to bring it back a couple times when it could absorb by Xanadu, but they also would have to pay for the installation, which would cost more money. And their project's future expansion construction never started, and basically from what I see, it lapsed. Now they came back a couple times, but every time they were met with the same thing: we can't handle it, you're gonna have to do some extra stuff. And it sounded like the project and the idea and scope was great, but when they finally broke down the financials, it just never really happened. And so Xanadu never really came to be. Now, what was his iconic legacy? Well, to believe it or not, it was just too futuristic and too big for its time. It would have been a mega resort. Nowadays, it gave wind, like I said, to Steve Wynn's Mirage. You know, you look at something like New York, and some of these other big time hotels and mega resorts. It was kind of the forerunner, even though it never got built. I mean, a couple years later, MGM Grand got built right catty corner across. So I think you have to look at it in the sense that while this never got built, it inspired a lot of people. And from some of the things I saw, people were talking about the Showboat in Atlantic City, which is now just a hotel, but back in the day was this awesome hotel and casino. If you've ever been to Atlantic City, just go to the Showboat. Now, all the casino and stuff and most of the restaurants, it's just a shell of its former self because of the whole economy in Atlantic City. If you look at that, that's basically what Xanadu looked like in the interior, which was very, high scale. If you go look online, some of the old renderings of the Showboat, a lot of people say that's what Xanadu would have looked like. And I was just there recently. I was inside there. It's a shell, but you can see it was pretty cool. And then along those lines, the Trump Taj Mahal and Trump Plaza, I remember looking out at the beach and looking at the Trump Plaza, which is actually, I believe, uploaded here. And there were specs from renderings I saw in the designs of both. So again, Xanadu had a lot of influence, even though it was never created. Elements, themes, there was a part of Xanadu in Atlantic City, believe it or not. So I think Xanadu, while it never built, it would have been an awesome place. And does KA think it still could be in work today? Yeah, if somebody wants to build Xanadu today, I think it would be great. You update it, scale it, you can make it high end, you can make it, like I said, the initial cashmere, you could do a theme with it. And I hope they do. I think that would be a really cool idea. But anyway, hope you guys liked this episode. Sorry for rambling there at the end. But I really think this hotel, and there's two others on this list that I'm going to talk about, I think really could have worked. And I really wish it would have worked. But that's it for today on Talkin' Vegas all day with KA. On your way out, make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe. And also, again, what do you think are some of the craziest ideas you've heard of hotels being built? And I'll add another one now. Do you think Xanadu should have been built? And do you really think it still work today? And I'll leave you with that. And we'll talk to you next time on Talkin' Vegas all day with me, KA.